Jack.
Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Yeah, by the time you get about this far down, I don't think there's much said that I haven't either implemented or tried to. First thing I did when I got welcomed into the Fiat without Alfa stores, I took, we had an office in the back with one of those one-way looking mirrors, and I moved my desk closest to the front door. So that's where I operate from. So if they're, do I still meet and greet every customer that comes in? No. Should I? Yes. A couple things that I've been, I do have a training schedule. Last week was point of contact. Starting today, I'll go back with the other crew, and then we'll go back into the appraisal step. Next week I'll do email out. Excuse me, at the end of this week I'll do handoff and EMI, early manager intervention. When we started with Cardone, we were probably Birdie, right, Brian? Back when we first started, you had that big green book. So we processed, I started with Jackie Cooper, OPM, Other People's Money, went through Stuker, went into Birdie, came into Cardone. We did Cardone about 10 years. Now we are doing the GE University. Okay, so most of us have probably been through enough training over the years. I'm going to tell you guys right now, we've been trying to skin this cat my entire life, and adult life of being in the car business, and we've usually come back to basically the same thing. So there's really nothing that's been so innovative other than technology that's changed from the day we got in the car business. The reason I like a 5-step process is I like to keep it real simple, real short. I just believe the meeting and the greeting, followed by the appraisal step, which will be the customer interview, which we have now flipped the cars that used to block the front entrance, and I've moved them away, and I've put out the 3 tables, because I'm trying to get the investigative step into step 2, which on top of our appraisal says customer interview. So if we do that correctly, then that's the handoff every manager that's on duty will meet, and usually there's only one of us. So we are a small store. The other thing, when you get into other difficulties that we have, we're a live store. We don't have an office, we don't have a receptionist. The calls come in live every time. I think we're horrible on the phone until you run through our CRM. And by the way, if we could switch to e-leads, you'll get my vote. I don't really like our antiquated system. I think it's a little outdated, and I don't think it's alive enough. What I liked about e-leads is you knew the service appointments that were coming in every day. Am I correct?
Oh, yeah.
You knew exactly who was coming in when. You can go present it with a pencil. Yeah, I did that too. I was GSM at a Toyota store for a while. We used e-leads. Absolutely wonderful. But with our system, now that I've got Jim Brown involved, he kind of helps me with Carl. Everybody know Carl Campbell? I had him out to the store last Friday with every salesperson, and I learned that really the person that really didn't understand the CRM was me. So we do have appointments shown to set, the ability to track that. Here's the problem that we have. We only get about 250 opportunities a month. The most cars we've sold in my tenure there is 80. Our closing ratio is usually around 20%. Our phone penetration is probably 35 to 40, and we probably sell 60 to 70% of those people. We are a destination store. I believe we were the first destination store in the organization because of our used car manager, who does do the price setting every day, sets the price, sets the lowest in the 500-mile radius usually, and somehow, some way, we still do manage to have a very strong front-end gross. That being said, we're worst last in the back end. I made some changes. We used to have our finance department, which is now the service department, and now we have a whole nother showroom that has 2 F&I offices, which we've tried to move out. And January 1, we think we're going to flip the stores, and we're going to throw Fiat that way, and we're going to throw Alfa Romeo out front. That's what my hope is. So I'm really pretty much into, where did I put this? I'm really into this. I love 2 things we can control, no matter how long you've been in the industry or what your title is the 2 things that I can control, and I always hated it because they always said it was the #1 thing you needed in sales, and that was attitude. But attitude and effort is absolutely the 2 things that I can control on a daily basis, regardless of what's going on in the world. The other thing is I heard it said in different ways, is show and tell. When I'm given direction from the desk, and I think I gave him my best stuff, and I've loaded his lips, and he rolls out there and tells the customer exactly what I told him to go do. Probably one of the things I've had to learn how to do in this industry, I'm from a little bit of a rougher era in it, is I've had to learn to be nicer. You know, I can't spin up like a top in the showroom, because I spin up the whole entire store, service, sales, and anybody else who might be walking by. So I've actually gotten better at that. Am I perfect? No. But I want to be honest with you, okay? The car business isn't a job, and it's not a career. It's a way of life. You're either in it or out. And there's not anybody that wants to come into my meeting late. They just don't do it. We start at 8:15 on Saturday. We start at 8:15 on Friday. Why do I do 8:15? So everybody's there before 8:30, right? It works. Do we train enough? No. Do we train correctly all the time? No. But are we constantly a training culture? Yes. I've been that way since the day I got in. I learned on the chalkboard from a guy that took me through the steps of a sale. I still believe in it. Guys that have worked with me know. But don't confuse my compassion with anger. I care. You know, the people that have been with me that I really care most about are the people that I've watched grow their second generation right up from my eyes. I don't know what I need to learn, but here's the thing. You can't stand around here as long as me and not be able to learn everything. You know, you got to keep trying to learn. The things that I'm concerned about now is they gave us Alfa Romeo. And Alfa Romeo is a Highline store. And, you know, there's kind of two kinds of salespeople, right? There's people that can sell anything to anybody, and there's people that they have to have the process in order to be successful. And I really take that as my responsibility. I do believe each person's got a production capacity. It's up to us to find out what that is. And then at the end of this month, what I'm going to do is I have, because I do believe I have a career path for each salesperson that I have. There's nothing more rewarding to me than watch people grow all the way up the industry and have the same type of job that I have now. But we are doing our outlines for sales and self-improvement for 2018 on the 26th. We'll do one-on-ones on the 27th and the 28th. And then I hope to have a special speaker on the 29th. And I'm working on that individual as we speak. So I don't know, guys. I don't know if we're doing everything right. I know that we come in every day and we try to do our damnedest, you know, to make some money and do the right thing and make the company proud. Some days are better than others, you know. So the truth is if we had a bad day yesterday, I can just assure you I'll show up to work tomorrow ready to go. So that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you. What questions do we have? I have one for you.
Okay.
So you mentioned you have a career path for each salesperson.
Yes.
So can you tell me a little bit more about that as to what that looks like and you know, how it's laid out and followed up on?
Yeah, well, I had one. So I'll start off with when I came there was people already in certain positions, and I made some changes. I took what we then had was a receptionist, and she came to me about the fourth or the fifth day and told me that she wanted to, you know, move on. And I said, so, well, you know, why do you want to do that? You know, she was making $16 an hour to answer the phone. I thought, wow, that's a pretty good position. Anyway, she told me she wanted to get into finance. So I said, okay, if you do these things, then, you know, within 2 years I'll put you in the box, you know. The only issue that happened was she got pregnant and had a baby along the way. But she is the second producer. I would like to put her, you know, we still have that career path going. But what I do is, you know, I mean, I don't know. There's people that came from the industry that came all the way out from being a service manager, and they put them out and they make them GMs, and they run stores successfully. But what I told her is if you know, you're already really good with customer relations. She takes care of all our co-op stuff and does a lot of organization for events that we are forced to have or want to have through Alfa Romeo. So she, you know, now she's doing internet leads. She's the second best producer for the year in the store, even having a baby. Matter of fact, she had a baby on a Monday right after she sold the car on Saturday. She came back about 6 weeks later. I ask you where you want to be, you know, what they asked me when I was, you know, where do you want to be in 5 years, right? What's going to be different in your life in 5 years? You know, what do you want to do? Where do you want to be? What do you want to do with your career? Will you take this as a career? So if somebody says, well, you know, I want to, you know, be a general manager, a sales manager, or a finance manager, then it's our job to give them the training and give them the opportunity to do that. And I use this company big time. I said, look, they're looking at buying more stores than, you know, we ever thought of, and they're going to be looking for people within. So I do believe you build the best people by investing in your people, and I also believe that the people that you invest in and grow are your best people. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at with that.
All right.
Thanks.
Anybody have anything else?
Yeah, they're not late to Jack's meeting.